Right. And we are live. Who's excited? I'm excited. Hello, everyone. Hello. And we are so sorry about the lag, but we are here now. And I'm so excited. Today I have an amazing person. This one is very close to my heart. She's an author, a relationship/marriage counselor, and an entrepreneur, CEO of Shakara Foods. So if you're in Abuja, if you're in Nigeria, don't even waste time. Don't play. All right, don't play. I'm so excited. Please help me welcome Minister, Pastor Rita Edward. I know when I say pastor, you like, no. Welcome to the live. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much. And I'm so excited. So first things first, I always like to have my guests introduce themselves because I might be calling you one thing, but you don't want to be, known for that. So let me just have you introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. For those that don't know, we know. So just let us know who you are and what you do, your passions, your interests, what you're passionate about. Let us know.
Okay. Hi, Kemi. So good. So happy to be here. You look amazing, actually. You look amazing. All right. I'm Rita Edward.
Mhm.
Proudly, you see that Edward, like, how do I put it? Proudly Rita Edward, right?
Thank
I'm
you.
one woman that celebrates my husband a lot. I take pleasure in celebrating him. I think as we go on in the life, you probably would get it. Okay. We're both into marriage counseling. We've been into marriage counseling for about 14 years. Yes,
Wow.
I run a catering business here in Abuja, Shakara Foods. We have 4 kids. I'm passionate about marriage. I'm passionate about God. I'm passionate about love.
Oh,
So that
we love
I'm passionate
that.
about people.
About people, yes, you're definitely passionate about people. I think that's one of the endearing things to you. You're not just, so it's not just that she's a marriage counselor. I always like to say that she's also a relationship counselor because she teaches you, even your relationship, because relationships are important other than your intimate relationships or partners. Also, your work with other people is also very, very important as well. So I think that's one of the things that I just learned from you, just from observation and all that. So anyway, let's get into the juicy parts. Can you just tell us, first of all, want to hear your salvation story, your coming to Christ story? How did you become a Christian? How did you, receive Christ? I'm always interested in hearing about that.
Okay, that's a very interesting question. Okay, so first things first, I was born into a Christian home,
Okay.
where you go to church and you just know that you're supposed to be going to church and be serving God. But
Yes.
in my teens, in my teenage years, um, I had an experience. So it was one of those casual, when I mean casual, one of those casual maybe rehearsals,
Hmm.
and I will not mention the name of the person now. And he was just talking. It wasn't just me, like there were other what do you call, there were there were other people, there were other young people in that rehearsal or something. But
Okay.
there was just this knowing, there was
Hmm.
just this encounter. It was different from the normal. I go to church. I'm supposed to go to church. I'm supposed to pray. And from there, the journey began. And thank God for where we are today.
Wow. That's actually very honest. I love how straightforward that was, and that God did not have to, whoop you too much before you got into Christ.
There was no need for that, actually.
Only for that, I mean. So how important is it? How did your walk with God, determine who you decided to spend the rest of your life with? Before we get into the story of how you met the one, how was your walk with Christ, very important in laying that foundation for who you settled with.
Okay, I didn't get the question correctly.
I said, how was your foundation, your walk with Christ very important in deciding who you get to spend the rest of your life with? How did Christ or your salvation help?
Very, very important too, because I think that from those early young age, I began to know God for myself. And
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't just about I needed to please my family or please my mom. So it became a personal work, And I think that that gave me it gave me a lot of self confidence. Like, when there's a point you get to in your walk with God, when you understand God's love, when you know God's love. So it's not just what maybe a pastor is telling you or what you've heard over the years. Like, you can really tell that God loves you, God is invested in you, And when you begin to have a deep and real relationship with God, where you could read the Bible, where you could want to talk to God by yourself, there was no how that was not going to translate or lead into who I eventually get married to. So it was a huge part. My work with God was a huge part on deciding who to get married to.
Okay, so finally, look, let me not say finally. Now, how did you meet the one? What was your
Hmm.
meeting the one like? Please give us the gist. We want juice.
Are
We like
you sure
juice
you
in
are
the
ready
shape
for
of
this
wine.
gist? Are you sure you are ready for the
We're ready
gist?
for the gist. That's what we came for, premium
Are
gist.
you okay? So, for those of you that don't know, okay, so I was like, hmm, let me just say it. If people like you, judge me. If you like, don't judge me. It's all right.
All this one
All
is
right.
daily, so we'll not judge you. But okay, don't worry, we'll be fair in the judgment. But we'll still judge, but we'll be fair.
No, okay. I like the part that you guys are going to be fair. So, my husband was my pastor, and he's still my pastor. So,
Wow.
he had um, he had this fellowship that I was part of at the time. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly speaking, I was just serving the Lord. I was not
Uh-huh.
looking at man.
That's so.
I wasn't looking at man. I wasn't expecting anything. I was just serving the Lord diligently,
Mhm.
you know. And it's a long story, but I think let me just find a way to, let's just go
We want to
around
hear
it
the
as fast
juice.
as we can.
This is what we
So,
subscribe to. We want to hear the juice.
what do you say?
I said we want to hear the juice. This is what we subscribe for. It's the
Okay,
juice that we
okay.
want to
So I'm
tap
giving it to you. I'm here for it. So let's do this. So I already knew that I was going to do ministry. I already knew that that was even before I met PH. We started talking love or marriage or something. I already knew that I was going to get married to a pastor or somebody that will allow me serve God. Like, I was
to.
very clear on that part. So, like I said earlier, I was just serving God. And then we were having the fellowship in a different area in Lagos at the time, and we moved. Like, I was the admin of the fellowship, like a very strong part of the fellowship. So we moved, and we moved to a new neighborhood, right? Ogudu Ojota, right? And we're going to establish the fellowship in this new neighborhood.
Mhm.
So PH was supposed to, my husband then PH was supposed to now get a place, because he was trying to get a place. So he was supposed to get a place in this new neighborhood to be able to attend to people and do ministry and all of that. Who is the right person to look for the place now? Is me, that
Uh-huh.
stays in the neighborhood. So I found some places, and the day we were going to check the place, it was myself, him, and one of his friends. So we got to the first house, and the landlord says, so of course he can see three people, and he's asking who wants the place. My
Mhm.
husband says that he's the one looking for the place, that this is his friend and this is madam.
Okay.
In my mind, I was wondering, madam where? I didn't say anything, I kept quiet. We went to the second house. The second house was those kind of house where as soon as you enter, you see the kitchen. So
Mhm.
as soon as we entered, he just looked at me and said, Rita, see your kitchen. Uh-uh.
Wow.
Like,
Hey,
what's
prophet.
going on here? And then the thing is that before this episode, right,
Mhm.
I knew the age I was going to get married. So I just told myself that maybe in a year or two before that age, I should just get into a relationship and have an idea how this thing works. Maybe one or two persons will break my heart and I'll eventually find
Okay, so
the right person.
you are not eating breakfast. You are not chop breakfast.
No,
Okay, so for the sake of those that are not Nigerian, you are not eating breakfast. You okay? So
no,
breakfast you not had your heart
no,
broken.
I wasn't served breakfast. No, 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 I wasn't.
Oh
I was protecting
wow!
my heart diligently. Actually, so the thing is, I knew that I can be a very emotional person. And then marriage and relationship was not a part of my life that I was going to joke with. There was too much at stake. So everybody was friend zoned until I was sure, and somehow it looked like it was PH that I was sure of. So
Oh
back to our gist. Okay, okay,
Well,
okay.
I have one question because this is very important for those you kept saying that there was a knowing. So now, so it's one thing to maybe you're able to explain it right now because now you have a better walk, you've grown and matured in your walk with Christ. But then, were you certain, and how did you know that you were going to do ministry? Because you mentioned one thing, you said you were certain that you were going to do ministry, and then you mentioned that from what I can get is that you had not been in a relationship before the one. So you were kind of preserving that aspect because you already learned that you were going to do ministry. So how did you know? Was there, a communication with the Holy Spirit? How was that so sure for you? I mean, I'm sure you got married young. So how were you able to know that, okay, this is what God is saying to you in regards to your marriage?
So like, I was very sure and clear of my path, of my future rather, as it regards marriage. Actually, most times I don't like to say this because maybe it offends some women, but that's my truth. So for me, I knew that my journey in life was going to start when I get married.
Hmm.
So it was one of the reasons why I wasn't going to joke about it. Like, I was not even going to date the wrong person, not to talk of marrying the wrong person. I couldn't afford it. I knew that this was what I was going to do even before I knew that I was PH. I actually wasn't even, I didn't know that I was going to be PH, but I knew that the person must be a pastor or must allow me serve God, because it was very like, it was just a knowing. I can't tell you that God gave me a word or God said this or God. It was just, and then the important thing was I was already living this life. I was already serving. So the church I was attending then, in short, I started serving since forever. But the church I was attending just before I got married to PH, oh my God, I was serving in that church that the admin in the church is a big church. If I call the name, you all know it. The senior admin in the church called me one day and said, Rita, let's start paying you now. I said, no, sir, because that was how much of my time I give. And I was saying that this one that you guys are not paying me, and you are sucking my blood like this, like you are finishing me like this. If you guys start paying me, it means that I won't be able to breathe. At least I just wanted I wanted an opportunity where at least I could still say no,
Hmm.
because it was voluntarily. So I
Yeah.
was already serving, I was already doing the work. So there was no how I was going to get married to someone that would not allow me do this work, or the someone that I would not support. So doing whatever it is that we're doing now in ministry is not strange to me, because it's what I wanted. There was no how I was actually going to marry anybody outside, which is why most times I tell single people, male and female, live your life, be living your life. One of the first things you want to do is to find your purpose, so that you're already working in your purpose. When she or he comes, you
Hmm.
guys keep moving, unlike
Hmm.
you just sitting down and waiting. So by the time you now marry someone and you want to now start fulfilling purpose, it might not be what the person wants for their life, and you now become bitter and you begin to say, he's not supportive, she's not supportive. But the truth is, you can't blame them, because that wasn't what they saw before you guys got married. So I always tell single people, live your life. That thing that you're sure. If you're not sure, instead of sitting down and waiting for the person to come, be doing that thing. Try to figure out that thing. If anything, the person might even meet you in doing
Oh,
that stuff. That it doesn't have to always be ministry.
mm.
Whatever it is that it is. So that's very, very important.
I love that you said that for people that are single and in waiting and trusting God, that live their life, and I would say live their life in purpose, right? Not waiting for that person before they start, fulfilling
Yeah,
purpose.
exactly.
When the person comes, it just helps you. Both of you will help each other to fulfill and hopefully
Exactly.
purpose, not just. But so you're saying that even the purpose as well does not necessarily have to be in ministry, but just doing
Yes, it
whatever.
doesn't have to be ministry. Yes, because people can. There are people that don't want to stay in this country and they just want to travel around the world. My sister, I'll be traveling. Let me meet you. You guys continue.
Right.
What career path do you want to do? Is it academics? Do you want to reach the end of the world? Continue. Just do your thing.
I love that. So I don't want to stop you. You were telling us the journey, because I always think that in stories, people, you always drop gems, right? So you were telling us how PH was like, Madam, this is your kitchen. So walk us through
I'm
the.
telling you.
I want to
This
hear on
okay, so like,
that's when you will now know that you've completed this story for me. Okay.
when he said that, like, I was shocked. And then prior to that time, like I said, I was already saying that okay, I should get into a relationship and see how it goes. So I spoke to him before this house hunting and all of that, and I told him that there are lots of guys around me, and I think that one or two or three of them, it's good to go, but I just want to be sure because I don't want to make a mistake. And he
Mm,
said to me that okay, why don't I go off guys? So that I can, when you're talking to everybody at the same time, you're doing hello, hello, friend, friend, friend to everybody at the same time, you might just be confused. So
you'll
maybe
be
take a step backward so that you can really tell who you think you want to be with. And I was like, okay. So I was in that space of freeing guys. When
mhm.
all of this, Madam, your house, Madam, no, did this one. As a sharp Delta girl, I was still keeping my head where it where it belonged. But the thing was, um, I was already. That was when I started. Oh my god.
No, we can hear you. Keep going. We can hear you. You're good.
Okay, so
All right. So while she is trying to resolve the network concerns, I want you guys, if you have any questions, please do not forget to leave the questions in the comment section. It is very important. It might just be something in your heart. It might not even be something that is happening to you personally. Maybe you have friends and you just want to ask questions in regards to relationship, in regards to marriage, or just balancing marriage and all, and some of the secrets that you would like to learn from someone who has been married for at least 14 years, if I'm not mistaken. Just some of the secrets that you would like to learn. So please don't forget to also hit the like button, as well as subscribe if you aren't, share with your friends, while we have our guest who is trying to fix and resolve the internet concerns. So with that
okay,
being said, I love what she was saying. She was saying how we should make sure that while people are single, they should already be walking in purpose, right? So that is very, very important. All right. So she's back. So please finish up the story. Mhm.
okay. So I was in that place, right? Where, so I already started thinking. Am I hearing myself, John?
Uh, yes. Don't worry.
Are you
Keep going.
hearing me, John?
Yes.
Okay,
No, no, no,
okay.
no. You're fine.
So that it was in that at that point I started thinking, can I marry this man just in case he put up something tomorrow? Because I was checking everything. In short, I'm AS, right? My genotype is AS. So even before PH came into the question, smiling and frowning, I'm asking you straight up, okay, what was your genotype? As in, I was that blunt. So I was checking everything. I was quite conscious. But when it came to PhD, with all of these little hints he was dropping here and there. So it was at those times I started checking and asking myself, can this work? Can this not work? So that was where the love and feelings started building.
Mm,
Now, to tell you that all of this was just orchestration, when when we talked much later, he was saying those things innocently.
mm,
As in, I was so shocked. He said he was saying those things because he knew that I would always have access to the house to relate to other people in the fellowship. So that was where he was coming from. Meanwhile, I was hearing other things. So this particular Sunday, I woke up and my service starts um, at 7 a.m. Sure, by 7 a.m. I'm supposed to be in church to sort out things and all of that. There are 10 different churches, but we were in the same fellowship. So one morning I woke up and I knew that I'm supposed to worship in PH church that morning. I was like, okay, what do I do? I just stood up, got ready because if their service starts at 9 a.m. If I wait till that time to step out, my pastor will catch me because if he gets to church and I'm not there, he will definitely come to my church. So I stood up that morning and I didn't even tell PH I was worshiping in his church. So I went to their church and I was their church is they use like that. People are looking for story and I'm giving it to you. This so I got to their church. They start at 9 a.m. I got there quite early. So I was just downstairs waiting for them to start. And then because he didn't know I was coming, he was coming in with someone. As soon as he saw me, he now said, "Hey, my baby, my baby." I said, "What's going on here?" Then the person that was with him now asked him that person, why who is this person? He said, "This is my baby." Oh. The person now said, "Everybody is your baby." He said, "No, this one is my special baby." I said,
Oh.
"Trouble." I said, "Trouble." So I still didn't say anything. Then we went for service. After service, my plan was that I was going to visit our members that attend the fellowship. Then in the evening, we will go for our fellowship, which is alternative at the time, the baptizing person. After service, myself, the guy baptizing, we went to the guy's house. So whilst we were there, after we're done eating and all of that, I don't know who sent the guy to walk away. The guy walked out. So he was left with myself and PH. That is where the journey began. So as
Oh.
we're existing now, he now asked me that hey, you're supposed to be off guide. So far, who is on board? I now said there's actually somebody, but I didn't call his name and I described him. So the sharpness of the worry girl in me was still calculating. So I asked him, I said, Poseidon, you too, are you not planning to get married? Now, give us the gist. That's how my dear husband man too described me and didn't call my name.
I love
I'm
it.
telling you. I now said that I cannot carry myself. Let me not disgrace my family member. So I asked him first, please, who is this person? He now called my name. Then
Oh.
he asked me to, who is the person? I called his name.
Oh. And the rest, like they say, is history, right?
I'm telling you. So
Oh, we love
that's
that.
how we got here.
We love that story. So I wanted to just talk about it. Do you think to you, just if you were to advise someone, your younger self, is it important for all women to always have a list? Like even if it's a mental list, is it important to have a list? Did you
I
get
didn't
my
get you, please.
my question was how do you think that it's important to have a list, even if it's a mental list? Do you think it's important that the list is compulsory, just knowing some of the things you want, like you
Well,
mentioned?
yes. I
Okay.
Yes, I think it's very important. Yeah, I think it's very important to have a list. But the thing is that you cannot have a list if you don't know what you want.
Mm. But some people always
You
think
have
that they
to
know what
be,
they
you
want.
have to
Some
know
people
what.
what they want. And then in the end, when they make that list and the person comes, like someone was saying, she was looking at the list and she was looking at the person that she was dating and it was not correlating. So I think I wanted to just say, what are some of the things that to you would advise, maybe like your top five non-negotiables that you think that Christian sisters should have on their lists?
Okay, you know, the first things first, the person must be a child of God. But like I always say, you cannot tell who a child of God is if you are not a child of God. And I know that everybody says child of God, child of God. I know that everybody says child of God. But the thing is, by their fruits we shall know them. So when I see anybody, man, woman, boy, girl, child, if you like, raise the dead. If you like, speak in tongues, capital letter tongues, in short, whatever it is that you do. If I cannot see the fruit of the spirit,
Mm.
sorry, you are not a child of God.
That
Because the
is
fruit
so
of the
important.
spirit are gifts, like it's a gift. Do you understand? But you see the fruit of the spirit, that's where the word is. And somehow, not like somehow, everything you probably do in marriage hangs on this fruit of the spirit. You have to be gentle, you have to be kind, you have to be long suffering, you have
Mm.
to have joy, you know. So the first thing on the list for me is child of God. Then purpose, then fancy. Fancy is very important. Most times, church people don't want to talk about this, but it's very important. You don't manage any human being. If you like them black, marry black. If you like them fair, marry fair. If you like them tall, because you're going to do forever with this person. You don't want to destroy somebody's self-esteem because you are trying to manage them.
Mm.
You both have to be in it. It's not one person. If it's not, if it's not the two of you, it's not a relationship. Don't manage anybody. I beg. Don't destroy somebody's
So what was that third point?
self-esteem.
What was that
First
third
of
point
all.
that you mentioned? Was it fancy? I didn't.
Yes, fancy. Marry your fancy.
Yeah, marry your fancy. I love that one because that's important. I mean, and this is in fact, if we begin to just go into that fancy on its own, but I want you to finish the top five, then I want us to now dissect that fancy because some church people will say, okay, you know what, tall is not necessarily important, right? Dark is not, I understand, though, I see those people's points. But I also understand now where you're coming from in terms of you don't want to marry someone in the name of God was the one that asked me to marry her. And that, but I'm not really attracted to her. But God is just the one that told me. Like I see, God is not a wicked God. He's not going to punish you. Like even Adam looked at her and he saw that Eve was good, right? So you're not going to wake up and say, this one self, well, if not because of God that asked me to marry her, I want to marry her. She's not my spec. But people are saying that that spec or no spec thing, you shouldn't use it as a Christian. You can, I don't mean to even like call anybody out, but in my personal experience, just from friends or so, I have people who have married people that they felt they just married the person because the person was the only born again person around them, and they felt that it was God leading them to, but there's no attraction. So now we are dealing with a case of you're not attracted, you're not sexually stimulated by the person, you don't want to be intimate with your partner because you now feel like you are punished. This network is a liar. Starita, please come back here. So I really, really want us to dissect this fancy. To marry for fancy or not to marry for fancy. This one on its own is something that we can stay here and finish. But I want you to
I'm
just,
telling you.
or do you think that there are some cases where you feel, maybe the fancy is not really important?
Okay, so marry your fancy. But the thing is, we can't get to marry your fancy. Like it's not just about marrying your fancy. We have to take out the God factor. We have to do God first. We have to do purpose, then you come this way. But the thing is that it is very important because in our line of counseling, I've seen people that have been married for 10 years, and they wake up after 10 years and say they are no more interested, not because anything happened, just because this person is not my spec.
Mm.
And guess what? These are Christians, because this person goes out every day and they see their spec. So if
Problem.
you're not married, please don't do that to anyone.
Mm.
You want to look at the person you're married to and say, I chose this person.
Mm.
Not that I pity the person or my father said, my mother said, because especially when you're influenced getting married to someone from outside and not you,
Mm.
the influences will go now. They've told you, marry this person. The family is good. Marry this person. The
Mm.
person will treat you right. Marry this person. And you have to choose it. You have to make that choice, you know,
I
and
love that.
live with whatever comes with your choice.
I love that answer. So what is your final two other than um God first, and you said purpose, then you said fancy. So what would be your last two that you feel all Christian singles should have on their list as well?
Okay, I think I will add just one and leave them to figure out the last one. So
Mhm.
the next one I'll add will be culture.
Okay.
Marriage is culture.
Mm-hmm.
Most times when people are planning to get married, they think that I'm just getting married to the lady, or I'm just getting married to the guy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just, I'm not just limiting it to Africa or Nigeria. The way the average white person thinks is different from the way the average Nigerian person thinks.
Mm-hmm.
So you must choose the culture. Don't ignore the culture. You must choose the culture that you're comfortable with. You can't get married to someone and tomorrow you are, for instance, if you get married to a Yoruba person and it is their culture that you need to greet. Like respect is a thing to their in-law,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So you have to pay attention to that. Can I do this? Unlike you just ignore that part, you get married, and then you come out on social media and say somebody is trying to explain you or something. Here we call everybody auntie, uncle. Where you are, you can call somebody by their name and it doesn't mean anything. So culture is very, very important. I would say that if you're planning to get married, pay attention to culture. Marriage is cultural.
I love that. I love that. So, just for those who missed it, she said number one, God first,
Hello.
right? Your purpose, then fancy and culture, right? And I think those ones
Yeah.
that just those four, if you can get those right, I would say the only thing I would say is like she said, culture. I would say family is very, very important. Whoever you're getting married to, I think we have this misconception that I see sometimes people would just always say, you can marry the person even though the parents don't like you, it doesn't matter. No, no, no. That means you're getting into that marriage with the hopes that maybe you spend the rest of your life trying to win the heart of the parents. So I would say the family is also very, very important. That's the one thing that I would just add to the list. That
Very
family
important.
is very, very important. Yeah. So what are some of the secrets, to let's say what I'll call building a lasting marriage? What are some of your secrets?
Okay.
Because
So
I don't just bring people that I just feel like, oh, because they're in my
there
circle.
are four legs, right? Upon which, or let me say five.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think
I
we're
thought you were
having.
saying something.
Yeah, no, no,
Can I
no.
go
You go
ahead?
ahead. Yes, yes, please.
Okay, so there are four. Okay, let me say five. There are five legs upon which every great marriage is built, right? I would mention the five, but I will stay on two. But let me say one. So the first one is covenant. You need to understand that marriage is a covenant, is not a covenant. Then the second one is communication. Very, very important. In short, communication to a marriage is what fuel is to a car. Very, very important. The third one is conflict resolution. Conflict don't break a marriage. Unresolved conflict is what breaks a marriage.
Mm.
Conflict resolution is another topic on its own. Let's keep that aside. Then the other thing is companionship. I will come back to this because that's what I would want to say. Then the last one is consciousness. So companionship, right, basically is friendship. And friendship in marriage is built deliberately, is built daily. Like you can't, your marriage cannot last long if you guys are not friends. And like I said,
Uh,
friendship can be built. There are people that you meet the first time, as far as you guys are committed to getting to know each other, you will continue to grow. So I believe that there are some friends you have that are just shallow, shallow friends. There are some other friends that you have that you guys are tight, like you guys are deep because you guys have gone through things, you guys have been there for each other and all of that. So that's what you're supposed to have in marriage. Like you're supposed to build it. So one thing I also didn't say was that, like I said earlier, my husband was my pastor. Right? So after he proposed to me that particular day or that night, and in short, he proposed and then we started dating. So he would call me and I would say, sir, he would call me and I was still being formal and one day he called and said that you are doing this thing like government work.
all
It
right.
will
I
not
want to
work.
say
That we have to build friendship. That if we're not close as friends, it's not going to work. So I started, we both consciously, I think more from my end, I consciously started seeing him. I could still see him as my pastor, but I started seeing him as my friend. We started talking often. I started becoming vulnerable. You get, and I'm glad that he said what he said, or he did. He was sensitive enough to know that we needed to build friendship. One of the issues we deal with in counseling is that some couples are not friends with their child. It's just a union for for pro, 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 procreation. You get? So they are both married, but they are living their lives. This person has their own bestie. I'm not saying that when you get married, you can't have friends outside. But I'm saying that you can have your friends, both have your friends, but your spouse must be your best friend. Like you both must decide to work and make sure that the friendship works because your marriage is dependent on it. Now, what do friends do? Friends play together. Friends plan together.
mm-hmm.
Friends pray together. Friends make progress together. Friends protect each other. Friends go through pains together. And
Mm.
this last one, very important, the parents together. So very, very important. This thing is on friendship. Our marriage is where it is because of the friendship that we share. Like I don't know how I can do life without PH because we have so grown together that we are tight. Like I don't know how to explain. So and then when you're friends with your spouse, it closes the door for any intruder, because you guys are tight. So nobody else is coming to break in. Because a lot of church people think that once we get married, nothing can happen. Infidelity cannot happen. I'm a child
Mm.
of God. Really, if you give this space, you will be shocked. Even if you're an archbishop, you will be shocked. So you want to make sure that you and your husband, you and your spouse are tight, you know. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Keep going. You said
Okay. Okay. So you want to make sure that you guys are tight. You see, one of the other things that happen in marriage is that, I mentioned that when you are friends with your spouse, you guys are supposed to grow together. Sometimes couples begin to grow apart because this person is growing and the other one isn't. It is very important that you guys grow together. This saying where they say that 20 children don't play together. I mean, yeah, don't play together for 20 years. But the truth is that if they grow together, they would relate together for whatever number of years.
mm,
So sometimes, if couples aren't growing together, one person is just left behind and the person doesn't understand what you're doing. But if you guys are in it together, you're going together. Another important thing is going through pain together. I want to believe that there is this one friend that maybe you can't forget because the person was there for you at a very trying time. Do you understand? So, for instance, for us, I'm that jolly person, happy. Of course, I'm the Baba
yeah,
of thoughts and
sanguine,
greens.
sanguine,
So my
premium
joy can be all over the place. Like I'm the one that is strong for everybody. I'm the one that But this particular time when we had our last song in Jesus' name, because um,
I
why
don't know
you
whether to say amen to that, though, but I will
so
just,
when
I
we
agree with you.
the better song. So when we had him at 6 weeks, he had bronchial pneumonia. Like was very bad. I was on oxygen for 7 days. We were in
Wow.
the hospital. The thing is, as strong as I thought I was, I couldn't handle that. Like I couldn't do it. Do you know that it was my husband that was sleeping in the hospital? I would be the one to go home every night and then come back in. When the doctors come around and they're asking, you need to get this, you need to get that. I am the one, yes, sir, let me go. Let me
Wow. You couldn't handle the sight of the
it.
whole.
I couldn't handle that phase. Anything to run away, anything to step out. Well, they were trying to set line and they couldn't find
Hi.
any. They had to they had to,
Mm,
yeah, they had to shave his head to be able to. In short, I was feeding him through everything. It was just a lot. But you see, that season, my husband didn't say, what's wrong with you? Man up, put yourself together. This, as much as we were both nursing our child, I believe that he was also there for me. So we went through that pain together, and I can mention many other scenarios. These things makes us grow tighter. It makes our bond stronger because we've been through things.
Mm.
Like we've been through things, but we're there for each other, and we just keep growing and growing and growing. I see one mistake that some newlyweds make. So you know how pregnancy can be for some women. Some women it can be really, really blessed, and and sometimes you see where the woman just runs away to a family house or run to the guy's family. In as much as I understand that you need all of the support and help, you guys need to go through that phase together. It will make you bond. It's something that two of them would laugh about in the future. There
Hmm.
are some women that are disconnected from their spouse from the first pregnancy they had because they felt like he didn't understand, coupled with postpartum drama and all of that. So if it's too dramatic and you really need the help of external family members, still find a way to be involved. Still find a way, I mean for the man, still find a way to pay attention, still find a way to know the details, find a way to be sensitive. And also for the ladies, open up as much as you can. Don't say you would not understand, you would not get it. Because you both have to consciously allow each other inside your pain, you know.
Mhm. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing all that. I see the
Play
comment section is
together.
buzzing. People are saying the 7 P's of friendship in a relationship. They're thanking you. So I want to go as far as further to the next question and just what is your advice to both men and women on expectations in marriage? Because I think that's one of the things that always causes conflict in marriage. People have high expectations from their partner, and then the man has expectation that the woman should always be in the kitchen, and but then again she's also working the same hours. So I think there's always that conflict of expectations on both parties. So what would you say, in your experience, you advise both men and women on expectations in marriages?
Okay, so when it has to do with expectations, I normally would say that don't have any. Yes, don't have any because that expectation sometimes somebody is getting married and they just have this expectation in their head that my husband is going to take the trash out. My husband is going to do this. My husband is going to do that. My wife is going to do this. My wife is going to do all of this was not communicated, just you assuming. So I would always say that don't have any expectations. Talk about your expectations. Build together, build those expectations together. Uncle, if that's what you want to call him. Huh? Auntie, I'm not saying auntie, auntie. Let me put the H there. Just talk about it that, okay, I would like for you to do this, or no, I will expect that you should do this on both ends. Then you guys can now talk about it and see how you can
Mm,
try to put together and grow.
mm,
But don't go in with any expectations. You will be disappointed. And you see, what the child makes the heart sick. So when you go into marriage with expectations and those expectations are vast, sometimes you're not even ever able to pick yourself. So it's just better to be safe and have no expectations and you guys build together.
I love that. Well said, Mama. Well said. So I want us to also go straight into another question that I have for you in my heart. I mean, this is encouragement sessions with Kemi, right? So the whole purpose of what Holy Spirit was leading me is to come and then just bring people that I feel that can encourage people. I understand that there are seasons in life, and I'm sure that there are also seasons in marriages, right? Just like you said, marry your friend, friends go through pain together, friends also have fun together. But there are times where in that season of pain, where people are wrestling with that season in marriage, how do people navigate? How should people navigate seasons, dealing with seasons in marriages? That's both bad seasons, of course, and the good seasons.
Okay, so I'm very glad that you mentioned season. You know how winter, summer seasons, it comes and it goes. So no season stays forever.
Mm.
One of the basic ways to go through different seasons in marriage is to do it together. Is to do it together. When you do it together, like I said, and it brings us back to friendship again. You
Mm.
just the bond just keeps building, and of course, God is the one that helps and leads and directs and all of that. But the thing is that when a spouse, there are sometimes when a marriage is going through a phase, and maybe the man or the woman made a bad decision in business or in career or in ministry or in academics or whatever. It is our decision.
Mm.
It is our problem. So we have to figure out, or we would have to figure out the solution together. The mistake some other couples make is that um, this is your problem. When you sort it out, we continue. If anybody in marriage has any problem themselves, they just keep going like that. Even if they're still staying in the same house, they are already beginning to drift apart. So we to do it together, go through seasons together. The same way a woman is going through postpartum drama, the man may not really, really understand how she's feeling, how she's thinking, the hormones, but make effort to go through that season together. Be sensitive, be there, be present, be involved. The same thing with when maybe a man is going through a financial phase or fulfillment and all of that. You don't just sit in one corner and you're saying, and figure it out. They are men doing this and doing that. So it's to whatever phase it is, do it together.
Do it together, right? So I know that one of the things that most marriages, in my experience, especially where I'm at, right, it's always mostly financial issues. It's always like the bottom line of the concerns that people have. Yeah, postpartum and all that. People are like, okay, understanding. Most times people already give men excuses for their emotional unavailability. But how do people now navigate? Let's say, for instance, you mentioned something when we're talking about financial seasons, where there's financial challenges in that season of life, and then there's this issue of a woman is still expected to do all the regular things like cater, cook, all of that. And then the man is having a financial season where he's not being the provider, which is what we already expect, and obviously based on the Bible. So how would you advise people to navigate that season of the life where the woman is the breadwinner? I think that's just the long and short of the story. Because I see that it seems to
Okay.
be a recurring thing right now because of the economy. Women are having to do more compared to what we're used to growing up, what we saw our parents go through, where the women would just take care of the home front, right? That may not be your reality. For me, my mom, my both parents were always working, but I see that it was like a thing where women had to sit back, at least even maybe when their children were within like a nurturing age. But now you see that women 2 months, they're already in the workforce, and then they are bringing 50-50, and then you still want me to respect and say let's submit to that man. So I see that my fellow women, so deliver us, maybe give us some deliverance. Maybe you've been able to navigate this.
Okay.
Deliver.
Okay. So, like I said a few minutes ago, right? Whatever challenge that you feel in marriage, if it's a financial challenge, it is not the man's challenge. It is not the woman's challenge. It is our challenge.
Mm,
So if we see it as our problem, you get, then we will fix it together. The same thing on the man's side. If the man sees that, okay, this running the house is our problem, he would also get involved. So
mm,
how do we solve this problem together? Because a caring man, a loving man, a good husband doesn't also want his wife to break down, doesn't want his wife to um, to lose her mind.
Mm.
So it's to do it together. And then I believe that there is wisdom to manage this thing. Now, the truth is that you don't marry somebody because, I mean, you don't respect a man because he's providing. Do you
Mm.
understand? You should respect a man because you respect him or because he has earned your respect. Because
Mm.
money is too small to be the only reason why you respect a man. The also the reason why some men will get their hands really dirty just to
Mm.
make sure that they get enough money and they can still have their respect in place. You know, there's something my husband also used to always say, and I believe it completely. See, when you are single, you have one funnel of God's blessing into your life, right? When you get married, you still have now one funnel. Do you understand? But God can choose who to bless the family. Like if you one funnel, you have two funnels now, but it's coming into one tank. So God can choose at different times who He wants to use to bless the family. So if at a season in your marriage, God is using you to bless the family, I don't think that any wise woman should put her husband down in that time. I don't think that any wise woman should not say, because this is what I'm doing and this is what you're not doing. You have to do this and you have to do that. Because the question you ask yourself is, so when the man gets back on his feet, how do you take back all of there are a lot of men that have lost themselves because of a financial season in their life and the things that their wife said or did to them. You know, so I think that women have to be very wise when it comes to finances in marriage. Because, of course, money has spirit and money can get into anybody's head. But the truth is that money is nothing. So you see, in marriage, it's not so much about more money or less money, it's about harmony. There are people that have a lot of money, but they still aren't able to make sensible decisions because this person is thinking this way, this other person is thinking. So the problem is not most times less money. There can be so much money and there is no harmony, there is no togetherness. There was a couple, excuse me, there was a couple that was going to go on a vacation, and one person wanted to go to this country, and this other person wanted to go to this country. They couldn't agree which country to go to. At the end of the day, the man went to this country, the woman went to this other country. Too much money, Abby.
It's too
So the
much
thing is,
money. That's
too much
it.
money. You know, but you see,
So
if
much
they were
money.
thinking together, they could have said, you know what, let's do this. When we are done here, then we'll go to this other country, and everybody is fine. So the problem most times in marriages is not less money or more money, it's harmony. Because if you guys are together, you can both say, okay, A and B is what our resources is. What can we cut down? What can we not cut down? How do we structure our finances? How do we structure our expenses? You know, so it comes back to doing it together.
All right, I love that, and I can see that we're having questions already. I'm excited for your answers for some of the questions, but before then, let me be selfish. Me, I still have questions. I still have like three questions. First of all, so is there
Okay.
any marriage? First of all, I know that it's easy. Starita, it's easy for you to say all these things because you marry somebody that has sense. I know PH 101 and my paddy, so I can tell you that it's easy for you to all these things that you're saying. Some women are vexing for you. They're like, you marry person, you marry pastor now. That's why you're saying all of this now. If if now some weapon formed of fashion against you that some people married, some people will say men will stay your white. If you be pure like this, be innocent, men will stay they will stay in your white. It's easy for you to say all these things you were saying. I say, you get some of my friends, if I bring them on this live, they'll say, I beg, I beg, I beg. That one that you're saying is because you married pastor. It's not PH. No problem. So do you think that you have it good because number one, obviously the foundation is already solid? Do you think that there's definitely that advantage?
Okay, so you see, I'm very glad that you brought up this question.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I thank God for my husband, and I'm grateful for him. But it's not just because I got married to a pastor. Do
Mm-hmm.
you get? That's why we're here. We both are consciously putting in the work. I know pastors, so I know bishops that their families are not. You understand? So I came from. I was telling somebody one time that from the family I came from, I'm not supposed to be teaching marriage or talking marriage. I came from a polygamous home. So when I was saying at the beginning that I could not play around dating the wrong person or marrying the wrong person, I know where I dey come from.
Mm.
Do you understand? So it was a deliberate thing. The truth is that even before I knew who I was going to get married to, I had made a decision that I was going to obey God. I was going to do marriage God's way. And I prayed that God helps me and that God also direct my path to someone that had the same desire, to someone
Mm.
that also wanted to put in the work.
Mm.
Somebody asked me, I think 2 years ago, I said, why did I get married? I said, I got married because I trusted PH. If I no trust am, say the vision, we can work it out together. I'm sorry, I'm not doing. So it's not just the fact that he's a pastor or we're both in ministry, because there are people, you see this marriage ministry, talk is cheap.
Mm.
Anybody can read any book and come and talk and speak English. But I
True.
celebrate my husband a lot because he's doing the work. Like he's conscious, he's sensitive, he's putting in. Then they check for me now. If me say I'm not aligned, if somebody is doing all of this, me too, I'm not now doing my own. What am I looking for? So the thing is that we both actually doing the work. That's
Mm.
why we're where we are. I was saying to one of our counseling, I said to her that as amazing as our marriage is, if we both stop today to do the things that we normally do, if we stop being conscious, now social media the story go on. So, but God forbid, we will not stop.
Forbid,
God
oh.
will continue to help
Yeah,
us.
I can
And you know,
definitely
another
attest
thing
to
about
that.
this thing.
Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead. No, 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 go
Okay, so
ahead.
another thing about this thing is you see this consciousness, you know when you are driving,
Mm.
you are focused, like you know that any little look away, any little distraction, the car can get into, it's not even just the car, so you can always get another car. But
Mm.
life can be lost, things can happen.
Oh,
An
for sure.
accident can happen that some accident might not be too fatal, but some
Mm.
others might be really worse.
Mm.
So we are conscious of that we cannot lose consciousness. We
Mm.
cannot get to the marriage is not autopilot, oh. It's
Mm.
not automatic, it's manual.
I
You
love
keep you are conscious, you are changing the way you are checking. It's not automatic driving that you just put it on your marriage is manual,
mm.
1852 manual, like very old manual, you are checking like this as you driving, you know.
Oh, I love that. I can definitely attest to the fact that, I mean, for as long as I've known you guys have definitely been very intentional. I see you on your status. At some point, I was like, "Ah, Sarita, let's hear what PH, oh my PH, oh my love, oh my sweet." I say, Wahala for Uno Mario. Please let the singles breathe. But I love that. I mean, you can always learn a thing or two from you and the way you walk intention in your marriage. I also want to just say, in your experience, you mentioned that you've had counselors. I know that you guys, do this as a ministry. Are there any marriages that you feel like this one cannot be fixed in your experience? That you're like, okay, no, I think this
Well,
will resolve it.
um Like
Speak.
we always say, any marriage can be fixed, but if the couples are willing, no matter what we say, no matter what we do, no
Mhm.
matter the prayer, even if Jesus comes from, you both have to be the one to do the work. Do you get? We can only suggest and tell you do this and that, but I cannot marry your husband for you. I cannot marry your wife for you.
Mm.
So any marriage can actually work if the couples involved are ready.
Mm. So, in your case now, what are some of the things? I know that yes, we get wisdom from the word, and you guys, are already in ministry. How do you guys keep yourself aligned, being that you're already in a position where you're in ministry? So it's good, but at the same time, you're also on a pedestal. So how do you make sure that you are also keeping yourselves in check? Do you have like mentors? Do you have other couples that you guys, keep each other in check? How do you make sure that you guys are still in check when you do the your marriage check, your marriage, health check? How do you keep yourselves in
So
check?
yes, we have mentors, very, very important. So from
Mm-hmm.
time to time, I listen to my mentors, or we listen to our mentors often. There are some times that I listen to my mentor and I'm like, "Ah, Rita, you're not doing enough." I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you, because when I see how much work she's doing, how much she's supporting her husband, how much they are going for in ministry, I'm like, oh Lord, my God, what's my daughter? So, because from time to time, we really need that encouragement to continue. Then, my husband and I, especially my husband, is a person of conviction. If he is not convinced, he's not getting involved. So, the principles we run our marriage by are principles that he is convinced about. You know, of course, anything you commit into God's hand is able to keep. God is the one that continues to keep us. And then, plus the fact that, lastly, the fact that there are many persons that are tied to us, the fact that there are many persons that are mentoring, we can't live a lie. So that encourages us to continue to do the work and make sure that whatever story we're saying is the truth, and then we can continue to encourage other people to be better as well.
Okay, so my final question for you is, how do you deal with parenting in this Gen Z era?
Gen Z, Gen Z.
Yeah, I'm a Gen Z. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm Gen
Yeah,
Z.
right. You, Gen Z. Okay, so basically, it's relationship. We have to build relationship with them. It's not shouting. It's not just.
Mm,
So the thing is that it's easier when right from when your children are young, you connect with them, not just providing and giving them all the good things of life.
mhm,
There are so many kids that have the good things of life, but their parents aren't present. So it's a journey that you have to build right from when they are young. Let the bond be tight, be involved, be present,
mm,
so that they get to the point where by the time they are teenagers, by the time they are grown, they are safe to talk to you. They know that they can trust you. They know that you won't touch them. They know that you can understand them. They know that you have an idea what they're talking about.
mm,
So it's relationship actually.
I
Of
love
course,
that.
you have to pay for them, but it's
Mm,
relationship.
I love that. So basically, we should connect, with our children
And
before.
that's the word, connect with them.
I love.
We cannot just assume that you cannot just assume that because you gave birth to them and you guys live in the same house that you guys are connected. No, you have to intentionally connect. You have to really, really, really pay attention, be present, involved in their day-to-day life thinking and all that.
All right. Thank you so much. Well said. I think we've exhausted all my questions. I'm going to be picking questions from the comment section. Now, your fans, oh, not me. Oh. Someone is asking, is 50
Hey, people.
marriage advisable? This Leira, I hope I didn't butcher your name, but is 50-50
Lyra.
marriage advisable?
Okay, no, I wouldn't say that. I
All
believe
right.
that, okay, so marriage is for two givers trying to
Mm,
outgive themselves.
mm,
So go into marriage to give 100%. Everything I talk about marriage, I talk from the place of God. I talk from my work with God. So, how did God say we should do marriage? What is God's instruction about marriage? What am I supposed to do? I'm not even talking about the other person. Me, what am I supposed to do? So that when I get to heaven and they're asking me questions, I can say, God, no, I did my own. You can go and ask the other person, you know. But you have to go in and do 100% with your full chest. So that even when God needs to fight for you, because sometimes in marriage, we need God to show up for us, but we're already showing up for ourselves. So there's nothing for him to do again. You know how maybe two people are fighting, and no, not like two people are fighting. Maybe somebody hits you, and you hit the person back. When you get to the station, it's two fighting because you've done you've retaliated. But if somebody hits you and you go straight to the station, then
mm.
the law can take its place. You are smiling. Why are you smiling?
No, it's because you know me now. No, no. Let's just do this for the for the people. I didn't know that that smile came out. I
So
was just
basically, go in, go in with 100%. The truth is that God will always, if you honor marriage, God will honor you.
mm,
If you do your part, God will show up for you.
okay. So basically, in a nutshell, I hope those that this question. I hope you. Oh God, I hope that this question. I hope that I want to be serious, you guys. I hope that this question, Lyra, I hope that this was able to clarify your question. You guys, Minister Rita has said marriage is for two givers trying to outgive themselves. So women,
Yes.
women, those your savings, those your colo, those your vex money. My friend said, she has vex money for if her husband misbehave, she can. Oh
Oh
my
my God. Why is she expecting him to
I
misbehave?
thought that. Okay. So wait, let me move. Someone says, how about C finish? Let me highlight the question. I think I know who this is. I think this is
Okay.
Baptist. She said, how about C finish? I don't understand what she means, but I'm thinking for those who are not Nigerians, this means like familiarity in marriage, right? I think that's what it means.
Okay. So, I mentioned something and I said consciousness. See, let me just tell all of you, see finish is bound to happen.
Of course.
As in, there is a possibility for you to see your husband finish. There's a
Bam.
possibility for him to see you finish.
Hmm.
But now the thing is that because we are conscious, as soon as you get conscious, you just arrange your brain, like you arrange your kidney together and
Mm.
you just, realign. So I'm not going to say that you cannot subconsciously, maybe not intentionally, you cannot subconsciously take your partner for granted, but you just have to be conscious. And then when they mention to you, sometimes you might not even know. When they mention to you, don't be defensive to say no now. Is it not that you and get yourself back on track?
Okay. So, the final question I see in the comments, and please, if I missed anyone, just let me know. But this is the final one. It said, "What do you do when you feel there's no connection and you only feel it's only commitment and you have no one to talk to, like our parents? You just stay. What do you do?" So I'm going to break
Well,
it
you
down.
have to find someone to talk to,
Okay, find someone to talk to.
because some in marriage is something that you cannot do without. Let me just say it as it is. You must look for someone that you trust to hold your hands. Do you understand, in marriage? Because the truth is that where this will lead to is not a place that you would like. There are many
Mm,
women that gotten into infidelity because they were just in a place in their mind at a time. Do you get? And of course,
mm,
infidelity never leads to marriage the way he met it. Because it becomes complicated and messy. You know,
mm,
there are persons that I've spoken to, and at the time when we were talking at the beginning, the lady felt like, in short, this marriage is over, she was done, blah, 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 and all of that. But as we kept talking, we can't even believe that there was actually no problem. This was just a mind or a phase. Even if
mm,
there is a problem, there are things and ways to deal with that. So you need to look for
mm.
someone that you can trust, someone that you know that will not be biased, that will tell you the truth as it is. You need to find a mentor, you need to find a counselor.
I quite agree. Like the Bible said, in the multitude of counsel, there's wisdom. So you definitely shouldn't be isolated in marriage. That one, I definitely
Yes.
agree. Because that thing can affect you. Like people say, your mental health. You shouldn't be doing marriage alone.
Mm,
It's not to be. There should be wise counsel. And I definitely understand people have their hesitations when you mention counsel because of trauma, right? Lots of people are dealing with when you go tell the wrong person in confidence because your brain, like your head is full, and then you rush off to the wrong person. So
yeah.
always make sure that your circle is tight. You have mentors ahead of you. I think that will really help, please, Oluchi. I hope that was able to clarify your question. You shouldn't just stay because you feel like our parents, where our parents had like limited information, limited resources, and all of that. Now there's a plethora. I believe you can access people like Minister Rita and Pastor Harrison. You can access them for marriage counseling. Do not do it alone. I think now Zoom, there's accessibility to Zoom. You guys can sit down, have a
Yeah.
conversation, have multiple sessions and all of that. I think that will really help. And that's just a good place to round up. So, any final words from our amazing guest? Me, I've had an amazing time. I don't know about you guys. I enjoyed myself. I could go on and on, but I like to respect people's time. And I want to say thank you so, so much, Starita, for doing this. I honor you. I celebrate. Thank you for PH helping make sure that everything was, ran smoothly. I appreciate you guys. I celebrate
Yeah.
you. And to the kids, thank you for sharing mommy with me. I know that it's nighttime, Niger time, and I appreciate you. Thank you so, so much. I'm so grateful. I honor you truly. So, any final words?
Thank you. Thank you for having me as well. Okay,
Mhm.
so marriage is a beautiful thing. Believe that you can have a beautiful one. Make a decision to put in the work. So if you're not married, you're in a good place to do it right. If you are already married, you can do it right. Do you understand? And it's important to God, because when God wants to describe his relationship with his children, we want to describe his relationship with Israel, he would mention marriage. So marriage is a beautiful thing, it's an amazing thing. It
Mm.
can work. Yes, it can work. That's where I would like those are the final words, so that as you're sleeping, for those in Nigeria, you just be hearing marriage can
Devil
work
is
in
a
Nigeria.
liar. Is it my network or what's going on? All right, all right, all right. I believe our guest is having some connection issues. She'll be joining us shortly. But if you're still on the live, I want to say thank you so much for joining us so far. All right, Starita, you're back. Yes, just a quick
Okay.
one. Your final parting words as the spirit leads. We lost you for a bit.
Oh, sorry. So I was saying that marriage is a beautiful thing. Marriage can work. Decide to put in the work. You can decide to put in the work. If you're single, you are in a good place, a better place to make the right decision. Get people that you trust to hold your hands through as
Yes.
well. Then if you're already married, you can still have an amazing marriage. You can have a beautiful one.
Hmm. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That I'm sure that encourages somebody. I still believe that there is hope. I don't know why, but I strongly believe that whoever was on this, like God intended it for you to be on this live. And if you're catching the replay, do not forget to like, share, subscribe as well. But I hope that someone was able to get their award for this season. Also, Sister Rita, you can catch Sister Rita Edward. Go binge watch
Yes,
her content on YouTube. She's on YouTube. Please help us encourage her to upload more content like this. We want to hear more of this vibe. We want to see more of this face. She's on YouTube at Rita Edward Obi, I believe. I'm going to tag her as well. And Starita,
yes.
how do we reach you? We need counseling sessions. We need therapy. Some of us, our head is full. We need a marriage mentor. How can we reach you or reach Pastor Harrison? They have amazing books as well. Right now, it's not publishing, but we'll let you know. That's why you need to. I know she has amazing books. They have about 6 books out there, but they have held on for now on the printing
Okay,
and
can you
publishing
hear me?
your resources. Yes, we can hear you now. You froze for a little bit.
Sorry. Yeah, so you can reach us at Better Love Life on IG.
Okay, Better Love Life. All right, I'm gonna type it in the
Yeah,
comment
on
section.
IG. So just send a DM and then we'll take it up from there.
Okay. So please feel free to reach. I'm gonna be putting it as a banner at Better Love Life. This is on Instagram, please. You can
Yes,
always send
that's it. Yeah, on Instagram.
yes on Instagram, and just you can always book a session. Please feel free to utilize them. They are amazing. I always vet people before I bring them on the live just to be sure that over time people are who they say they are. So please feel free, relax, drink Coke, take Zobo, chew Zobo. You are in the right hands, you are in safe hands. So just in case, because I know some people don't want to reach out to their pastors or people that know them one on one. They are amazing people,
Yeah.
and I believe that you'll be in safe hands. And thank you so much for watching. You can also follow Sister Rita at Rita Edward. If you have any catering business in Abuja or at all, who knows, we can also very soon we'll start doing international vibes and all. So please feel free to support, like, share, subscribe. She took time out of her time. So please help me show her some love and check out her YouTube channel as well. I'm sure we're going to be having more content coming soon. And with that being said, thank you guys so
Yes,
much for
yes,
watching.
yes, yes, yes.
We love you. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining till the
Thank
end.
you. Thank you too. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. Bye.
You're welcome. Thank you too for having me. Had a good time too.
Yeah. Bye.